Okay, so Essence Magazine has an article today about Tamron Hall. We know Tamron Hall is an excellent journalist. She co-hosted the last hour of the Today Show on NBC with Al Roker, the weatherman. They co-hosted. This was a number one. They were number one in their time slot. Okay. And then also she did a show on MSNBC. She did Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Okay, Tamron Hall, MSNBC Live with Tamron Hall. Well, Essence.com has an article. Tamron Hall leaves NBC today, the Today Show, after Meagan Kelly news. Okay. This is from February 1st, okay? So this was the day after she left. This is from Wednesday, just 2 days ago. Less than a week after Meagan Kelly's arrival is announced. Meagan Kelly, the anchor at Fox News, she's known as the darling of the right wing, okay? She's huge over at Fox News, okay? Less than a week after Meagan Kelly's arrival is announced, the beloved anchor turns down contract renewal. After 10 years with the Today Show and MSNBC, Tamron Hall has decided not to renew her contract and move on from the network. This news comes less than a week after it was announced that controversial Fox News anchor Meagan Kelly was coming to the Today Show and may commandeer Tamron Hall and Al Roker's Today Show take at 9 a.m., which is the last hour of the show. Okay. It's been reported that the Texas native, who's covered everything from the 2016 Olympics to 2 major inaugurations, was offered a multi-million-dollar deal to stay, but decided to go. Quote, the last 10 years have been beyond anything I could have imagined, and I'm grateful. End quote, said Tamron Hall in the statement. I'm also very excited about the next chapter. To all my great colleagues, I will miss you. And I will be rooting for you. Okay. Now, the article goes on to say there's no word on what's next for Tamron Hall, but we kind of hope she goes the Soledad O'Brien route and starts her own news production company. I hope she does that also. If TV One doesn't pick her up, I hope she starts her own production company. Maybe she could team up with Melissa Harris Perry as well, because that's what Soledad O'Brien did. She started her own production company. Quote, Tamron Hall will be leaving. Now, NBC said in a statement, quote, Tamron Hall will be leaving NBC News and MSNBC when her contract expires this month. Yesterday was her last day as an anchor on both networks. Tamron is an exceptional journalist, and we valued and enjoyed her work at Today and MSNBC, and hoped that she would decide to stay. We are disappointed that she has chosen to leave, but we wish her all the best. Now, Al Roker will quote unquote. The article goes on to say that Al Roker will continue to co-host Today's Take at 9 a.m. weekdays until a new morning lineup begins in the fall of 2017. Okay. And that's a big loss for MSNBC. So I follow Tamron Hall on Twitter and on Facebook. Tamron. And she had a video, Tamcam, on her Twitter page. And this is from yesterday. And it says, today was a good day. Thank you all so much. Hashtag Tamcam. Okay. And she's there in looks like pajamas. It's like onesies. It looks like she's wearing. Here's what she said. Just a second here.
What have I been doing all day today? First of all, thank you guys so much for all your sweet social media messages. It's meant so much to me. These are good times for everybody and good times for one of my favorite organizations, Housing Works. So this is what I've really been doing all day. I have Jimmy Choo, Christian Louboutin. I've got work clothes, I've got party clothes. I have packed up a mother load headed to Housing Works to donate all of these things. Hopefully you will support them. They're an amazing organization. And look, you get a whole lot of my stuff. See you soon. Bye.
Okay, so that is straight from the TamCam. All right. Now, Huffington Post Black Voices had a good article also. Exit by first black female Today Show co-host called Whitewashing. Exit by first black female Today Show co-host called Whitewashing by journalist group. Tamron Hall will reportedly be replaced by Meagan Kelly, who has, quote, a well-documented history of offensive remarks, end quote. And if you read the article from news1.com, they have an article about dealing with Meagan Kelly's comments, racial comments, things like this. Okay. They have an article about that, and they list 10 of them. Okay. We'll go to that on the other side of the break. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network. We're in Now There's Power. We'll be back in a few minutes. I want to remind you that I'm doing a webinar coming up Saturday, February 4th, 2017, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., dealing with should African Americans celebrate Black History Month, exposing the myths. Should African Americans celebrate Black History Month, exposing the myths. You don't want to miss this. You can watch it from anywhere around the world. So all the international viewers that we have, right? You can watch it from anywhere around the world. Okay, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And in the webinar, we'll deal with the history of African American History Month, which used to be called Black History Month, which started out as Negro History Week. And we'll deal with what we need to do to make it relevant for today and the future. We'll deal with dispelling some myths about our history also. Okay. So that's tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, February 4th, 2017. You don't want to miss that. We have the information on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. I also created a Facebook event invite. You just search for Black History Month. It'll probably come up. But it's on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. We're going to get the information and the link on our website. We'll have that up shortly, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll have that up. And it's going to be on our email newsletter. I'm going to send out either tonight or in the morning. Okay, we have an email newsletter going out, and it's going to be in the email newsletter. Okay, so you don't want to miss. This is a free webinar I'm doing. Okay, free webinar, and invite your friends to tune into it also. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this one. Okay, welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. Let's go to this article here from Huffington Post Black Voices. Okay. Really good article they had about Tamron Hall, and she's an excellent journalist. Google the look at the interview, look at the video of the interview she did with Scott Baio during the presidential campaign. She tore Scott Baio up. I mean, she asked some really, when she does interviews, I mean, you can't play with her. You can't come. She's like Joanne Reed. With Joanne Reed and Tamron Hall, those are two sisters who are real journalists. You can't come on there BSing. You can't come on there lying, because you have to talk to the hand. You'll get stopped. But this article from Huffington Post Black Voices from yesterday. Exit by first black female Today Show co-host called Whitewashing by journalist group. Tamron Hall will reportedly be replaced by Meagan Kelly, who has, quote, a well-documented history of offensive remarks, end quote, and they are so correct. Now, the Today Show is facing a shakeup that has some raising eyebrows. Last month, January, NBC revealed plans to bring former Fox News host Meagan Kelly into its morning lineup, reportedly bumping co-hosts Tamron Hall and Al Roker from the 9 a.m. slot. On Wednesday, February 1st, 2017, NBC announced that Tamron Hall would be leaving the network after 3 years as a co-host on the show, on the Today Show. She would surprise her colleagues by rejecting a multi-million-dollar deal amid the hour's healthy ratings. Okay, according to rumor, she found being replaced by Meagan Kelly offensive and hurtful. According to rumors, she found being replaced by Meagan Kelly as offensive and hurtful. A Tamron Hall, you could have at least recommended a brother for the job. I mean, to take the place, just an hour. You could have at least, recommended the brother for the job. All right, I could have done that job. All right. Now, the National Association of Black Journalists, however, has made its thoughts on the issue very clear. In a statement released this week, the organization stated it was, quote unquote, saddened by Tamron Hall's departure, and said Kelly and Meagan Kelly's move to the 9 a.m. hour is, quote, being seen by industry professionals as whitewashing, end quote. And I agree, is being seen by industry professionals as whitewashing. Tamron Hall has been the show's first black female co-host. Quote, Kelly, referring to Meagan Kelly, has a well-documented history of offensive remarks regarding people of color, end quote, the National Association for Black Journalists stated, giving the example of Meagan Kelly stating that Michelle Obama's 2015 commencement address at Tuskegee University pandered to, quote, a culture of victimization, end quote, a culture of victimization. Other examples abound. Meagan Kelly cast doubt on the significance of blatantly racist emails sent with the Ferguson, Missouri Police Department. She defended a Baltimore police officer involved in the death of Freddie Gray and called the black teen manhandled at a pool party by Texas police, quote unquote, no saint. Okay, this is an attempt. This is how the right wing attacks the victim oftentimes in these instances and gives the white perpetrator a pass. Now, some viewers have also expressed disappointment after today's show shakeup. In a statement regarding her decision to leave, Tamron Hall said she was, quote unquote, grateful for her 10 years at the network, but also, quote, very excited about the next chapter, end quote, in her career. She's 46 years old. She's 46 years. She's a year older than me. She's 46. So all my great colleagues, I will miss you and I will be rooting for you, end quote, she said. Calling her an, quote, exceptional journalist, end quote. NBC said in a statement of its own, quote, we are disappointed that she has chosen to leave, but we wish her all the best, end quote. Well, if you haven't tried to bring over a substandard white woman who has a history of making racial remarks, maybe you wouldn't have pissed Tamron Hall off, because I think she was hurt and angered by it. And what were the exact words from the article? Let me get the exact words. I think she found it offensive and hurtful. Okay, because Meagan Kelly isn't even qualified to shine Tamron Hall's shoes. She's not qualified to shine Tamron Hall's shoes, okay? Her Jimmy shoes or Payless shoes she may have had when she was in college. Now, in News One now, News1.com has an article from 3 weeks ago. Hey, News One, I love your articles. Please start dating them, because people like myself, talk show hosts, reference them. We want to know the date of the article. News1.com, please start dating your articles once again. Thank you. 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments. 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments. The former Fox News host is taking her race baiting to NBC. Now, I think this is a clear attempt of NBC to shore up its ratings, but not just that, to bring over. I know the last hour they had Al Roker and Tamron Hall. They were highest rated in the time slot, but I think NBC, because Trump is in office, I think they're doing a realignment. Now, they just brought over on MSNBC, they just brought over Greta Van Stursten from Fox News. That's mistake number one. Okay, that's mistake number one. Okay, right wing talk show host, right? They brought her over from Fox News. Now they're bringing Meagan Kelly over from Fox News. I think they're trying to bring over some of those right wing viewers of Fox News, trying to bring them over to MSNBC now that Trump is in office. Okay, and we have seen an exiting of some African Americans over the past year or so from MSNBC, NBC, Goldie Taylor, Melissa Harris Perry, Michael Eric Dyson, also, who else? Okay, we see Tamron Hall. We see the move in Reverend Al Sharpton from 5 days a week, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Politics Nation to Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You see Teray, who was on the show The Cycle, which came on during the afternoon. He left the network as well. He left MSNBC also. You see a shifting that's taking place, okay? Now, top 10, 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist comments, okay? But let's do this like Dave Letterman. Let's start with 10 and go down to 1, okay? Number 10, drum roll. Number 10, she cries reverse racism. Finally, how could we forget Meagan Kelly's manipulation of now Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor's quote about the value of Latina judges. Her cries of quote unquote reverse racism left much to be desired. And they go on and ask, did we miss any? Okay, so that's number 10. Number 9, college protesters spoiled. Meagan Kelly also suggested that campus protests followed unrest across the country were simply the work of spoiled, overly sensitive youth. Quote, I love that utopia. It does not exist. Good luck getting rid of all of the bigotry. We're just going to wipe the world. We would love to, but it's not reality, end quote. Okay. And they have some video clips here in this article. Watch this of Meagan Kelly. This is who NBC is bringing over. Okay. Number 8. Tina, and we're dealing with, we're going to go right past the break. Okay. We're dealing with 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments. Okay. Brought to you by the Empowerment Radio Network. Okay, I wonder if this is sponsored by the Ku Klux Klan. I wonder, huh? Okay. So that was number 9. College protesters spoiled. Okay. Now, does she talk about college protesters who protest and set couches on fire? When when these white kids, when their teams lose a college basketball game or a football game or something like that, does she talk about that then? Number 8, calls for justice perpetuate culture of victimhood. Calls for justice perpetuate culture of victimhood. She once claimed that First Lady Michelle Obama and others who call for social justice are perpetuating a culture of victimhood. Quote, it takes away your power to send the message that you are a victim and you will remain a victim unless the man gets his foot off your neck, end quote. Well, Meagan Kelly, I guess maybe you shouldn't vote because your people didn't get the right to vote. White women didn't get the right to vote until 1920 because they had to fight for the right to vote, but they didn't have to fight for the right to vote like African Americans. Show me a case where they were hit upside their head with billy clubs by white police officers and had dogs sicked on them. Okay. I mean, it wasn't until about the 1960s that white women could even get a loan from a bank without their husband co-signing for it. Okay, so you want to talk about a culture of victimhood. You are the beneficiary of white women who came before you that fought for your behind to have a anchor seat at Fox News. Number 7, she criticized Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake for the thug's apology. Meagan Kelly took issue with former Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Stephanie Rawlings Blake's apology for calling protesters thugs. This was during the rebellion, in 2015, April 2015. She said, quote, "You know, misguided young people, it's tough for the cops who found themselves being assaulted, one with a shattered kneecap, hundreds who are injured to swallow as they watch them burning people's houses down," end quote. This is who NBC is bringing over. And I think this pissed off Tamron Hall. Okay? This is Meagan Kelly. This is the same dumbass Meagan Kelly who said Santa Claus was white. Guess you never saw Hidden Colors before. I guess you never saw Hidden Colors before. Okay? Speaking of Hidden Colors, here's a clip. Let me update something here on our Facebook Live broadcast. Here's another clip from Hidden Colors for the Religion of White Supremacy. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to continue with the top 10 list of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments, brought to you by NBC. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. All right, that's another excerpt of Hidden Colors for the Religion of White Supremacy. Fantastic documentary. We have all 4 installments of Hidden Colors at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have a Hidden Colors Family Bundle Pack. You get all 4 installments. You get 4 of my DVD presentations and 1 installment of Afro Man and the Protectors of the Book of Knowledge, also for 1 low price. It's about $145 value. Okay. So on sale right now, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Okay, let's go back to this story here. So Tamron Hall, last day on MSNBC and the Today Show was Tuesday, January 31st. You've heard me share segments of Tamron Hall, her reporting here on the show. Excellent journalist. Well, Huffington Post Black Voices has a really good article that we just talked about. And it's called "Exit by First Black Female Today Show Co-Host Called Whitewashing" by journalist organization, okay, by journalist group, okay. And this article is written by Sarah Boboltz, Boboltz, okay. She's an entertainment editor for the Huffington Post. This is at Huffington Post Black Voices. She's a white woman, but this is a good article. Since I write articles, you can read all of my articles at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. I also like to give credit to the writers of the articles as well, okay. So we were talking about that article. Essence magazine, Essence.com has an article as well that we talked about. Tamron Hall leads NBC Today Show after Meagan Kelly news. Then News1.com has an article from 3 weeks ago, because I heard about this announcement 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, what? You getting rid of Tamron Hall? NBC News1.com has an article, 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments. 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments, right? So number 10 was She Cries Reverse Racism. Number 9, College Protesters Spoiled. Number 8, Calls for Justice Perpetuate Culture of Victimhood. And this was talking about Michelle Obama. And you better not ever say nothing negative about Michelle Obama. Number 7, Criticize Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake's thug's apology. Not criticized her for calling the protesters thugs. She criticized former mayor of Baltimore Stephanie Rawlings Blake for apologizing for calling them thugs. This is the type of white supremacist that NBC is bringing over. Now, I'm just going to call her what she is. She's a white supremacist. Okay. She's a white supremacist behind makeup and a dress. Okay. So she may not be as bad as a Klansman, but she probably, I don't know if she would actually denounce. Well, she may denounce the Klan, but I wonder if she's going to denounce Stephen Bannon and Stephen Miller, white nationalists who are in Donald Trump's camp. I wonder if she's going to denounce them. Number 6, has no empathy for Trayvon Martin's family. Has no empathy for Trayvon Martin's family. Okay? Wow. Quote unquote, wow, she said in response to the reaction of Trayvon Martin's father, Tracy Martin, to George Zimmerman's not guilty verdict. Okay? Quote, they prosecuted him. Those prosecutors did their level best. but they didn't prove their case. I mean, the jury saw it differently, end quote. No, they threw the case. No, the jury, the prosecution threw that case. They did not want to press charges in the first place. You had to have nationwide protests just so George Zimmerman was arrested. When have you had to have nationwide protests when somebody kills a white person for the perpetrator to be protested and charges to be brought against them? Okay, this is Meagan Kelly. Okay, I've been watching her, unfortunately, for years. I don't watch Fox News, very, very rarely. I can't stomach it because I know these are a bunch of liars, most of them. Number 5, she believes the quote unquote all lives matter canard. When Stephen A. Smith apologized for his all lives matter comment, Meagan Kelly weighed in to say that, quote, his spine got up and walked out of his body, end quote. Now, what I want people to understand, if you read the article from Salon.com from like a couple weeks ago, it talked about how, and I'm see if I can pull this up. Let me see. It talked about how Donald Trump's 40% of Donald Trump supporters get most of their news from Fox News. Trump. Okay, go to salon.com. You can read that article. I know I printed it. I don't have it bookmarked because I have thousands of articles bookmarked. I could just do a search and pull them up in my own database. But go to Salon, SALON, salon.com, and you can check that out. Number 5, no problem with racist emails sent by Ferguson, Missouri employees. No problem with racist emails sent by Ferguson, Missouri employees. Now, I watch Greta Van Susteren a little bit because I have it on MSNBC. So she comes on 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I can even tell with Greta, I could tell she has these right-wing tendencies. But I think it may be worse with Meagan Kelly. Now, during a discussion with Wall Street Journal columnist Brett Stephens, Meagan Kelly, quote, dismissed the Department of Justice report on the Ferguson Police Department on their disproportionate targeting of African Americans, and she dismissed it as a quote unquote case of bad apples. And this is according to Media Matters. Okay. She said, quote, despite serious findings of racial bias and stereotyping in the article, it said despite serious findings of racial bias and stereotyping in the Ferguson Police Department, Meagan Kelly called the report, quote unquote, problematic, arguing that, quote, there are very few companies in America where you won't find racist emails, end quote. This is how she tried to explain away the over-policing of African Americans in Ferguson, Missouri, because this is what the Department of Justice report detailed, okay? And these idiots who voted for Donald Trump, they're getting most of their news from people like Meagan Kelly and Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity and Fox and Friends and Greta Van Susteren and these other idiots on Fox News. Okay, this is who's coming to NBC. Now, number 4, no evidence of racism at the McKinney, Texas pool assault. Okay, now we remember this case. You had McKinney, Texas police officer Eric Casebolt manhandled at the time, I think she was maybe 15, a 15-year-old African-American girl in a bathing suit. Okay? She wasn't hiding a shotgun in her weave, in her braids. She was in a bathing suit, okay? A viral video of former McKinney, Texas police officer Corporal Eric Casebolt manhandling a black teenage girl generated a vociferous public outcry over excessive force in communities of color. But Meagan Kelly, the darling of Fox News, questioned whether race was an issue in the officer's handling of the incident. Show me what white girls they handled like this, because there were white girls at the party. Show me what white girls they handle like this. Now, in all fairness, Eric Casebolt, from all reports, from even people there and from video that I saw, he was the only officer who was out of pocket who was out of line, because the other officers there they're looking at him like, what's wrong? If you go back and watch video, and I wrote an article about this case, and it's at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on the link, read articles by Michael Imhotep. You saw a group of African-American boys standing there, teenagers, and there's a white police officer talking to them. And he said, guys, look, he said, if you see us coming, don't run from us, blah, blah, blah. He's talking to them in a normal voice. They're standing there being respectful. They're responding to him. Then here comes Officer Casebolt coming up. I told you don't move. I told you don't move. Blah, blah, blah. When you go look at this, and from reports from the teenagers that were there, things like this, the only officer who was out of line was Eric Casebolt. Okay. Now, but Meagan Kelly questioned whether race was an issue in the officer's handling of the incident. Quote, what is the evidence it is a race thing as opposed to an excessive force thing? The girl was no saint either. He had told her to leave and she continued to linger, end quote. So now this is what the determination of somebody being a saint is. You told her to leave. She continued to linger. And so now she's a bad person or something like this. Okay. You see, this is Meagan Kelly. All right. Now I want to pull up this article here. We're on break. We'll be back in 1 minute from break. I made it to 6 o'clock. We're going to go a little past 6 o'clock. That's going to be it. Okay. There was an article, and I talk about it a lot in some of my lectures, from the Huffington Post. It's called "When the Media Treats White Suspects Better Than Black Victims." When the media treats white suspects and killers better than black victims. This is from August 14, 2014. You should read this article. In my presentation, Empire Strikes Black, the Propaganda of the Media. And that's one of the, if you order our Empowerment Bundle Pack number 1, it's $50. You get 6 of my DVD lectures there. That's one of the lectures in that bundle pack. We have the Empowerment Bundle Pack 1 and Empowerment Bundle Pack 2. So you can get 12 of my DVD presentations for only $100. Read this article, HuffingtonPost.com, Huffington Post Black Voices. When the media treats white suspects and killers better than black victims. And what this article talks about is they went and looked at headlines from all across the country, different news publications. And they looked at when the victim of the killing was African American. And they looked at instances where a perpetrator was white. Okay. And what they found was that oftentimes the media will go out of its way to show how this person killing 15 people or killing 3 people is so much out of their character. But when it's an African American who's a victim of murder, this African American who's a victim of a crime, they go and dig into their background and talk about, oh, well, this person was incarcerated for 10 years. Oh, this person was on drugs for 20 years. And try to make it seem like it was their fault that they were killed. Theater shooting suspect was brilliant science student. This is an actual headline. Okay? Theater shooting suspect was brilliant science student. This is a white guy who killed somebody, but they want to talk about how brilliant of a science student he is. With Michael Brown, police, Michael Brown struggled with officer before being shot. They didn't say college-bound African-American male shot and killed by a police officer. Because he was supposed to start college I think the next month or something like that. He was college-bound. Accepted to college. He was supposed to start, I think, the next month after the shooting. Okay? Instead of the headline in the article saying, Michael Brown, college-bound African-American male, shot and killed by police officer. It says Michael Brown struggled with officer before shooting. Okay? Then you have, they give you some examples. Here's a white suspect. Here's an article about a white suspect, a headline. Alabama suspect brilliant, but social misfit. That's how the Lubbock Avalanche Journal chose to present the story of Amy Bishop, a former college professor who eventually pleaded guilty to killing 3 colleagues and wounding 3 others at a faculty meeting in 2010. Alabama suspect brilliant but social misfit. You have a case of an African-American victim. Okay. Montgomery's latest homicide victim had history of narcotics abuse, tangles with the law. And that's the headline from AL.com, Alabama.com. AL.com ran about the shooting death of a 25-year-old black man in Alabama earlier in 2014. Now look at the headline, Montgomery's latest homicide victim, which cheapens his life and basically say this is another Negro that was killed. It cheapens his life. Montgomery's latest homicide victim. Oh, he's just like the other Negroes that were killed. Had history of narcotics abuse, tangles with the law, as if somehow that justifies him being killed. White suspect, son in Staten Island murders, was brilliant, athletic, but his demons were the death of his parents. This is a dude that killed his parents. This is how Staten Island Advance covered the case of Eric Belushi, a mentally ill New York man who allegedly killed his parents. Son in Staten Island murders was brilliant, athletic, but his demons were the death of his parents. Black victim. Trayvon Martin was suspended 3 times from school. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Did George Zimmerman give Trayvon Martin a questionnaire before he killed him? Trayvon Martin was suspended 3 times from school. This is an actual headline. Where was this from? NBC News. I like NBC News, but sometimes they get things wrong. You know, I share a lot of articles from NBC News. Number 1, they have good articles. Number 2, when you print them up, they print correctly, because some other news outlets, when you print them, part of the article is cut off. Okay. NBC News, the format is good. Okay. Now they don't play well in Firefox, the videos. You have to put them in Google Chrome or something like that. MSNBC, their articles print perfectly and their videos play much better also. Okay. Check out this article. I got to get the hell out of here. Check out this article. Here is last one. White suspect, Oregon school shooting suspect, fascinated with guns, but was a devoted Mormon, his friends say. Oregon school shooting suspect, fascinated with guns, but was a devoted Mormon, his friends say. This Fox News headline quoted friends shocked that 15-year-old Gerald Michael Paget had entered his high school heavily armed and killed a classmate and injured a teacher and then took his own life. He was fascinated with guns, but he was a devoted Mormon. I think there's a contradiction. That he couldn't have been that devoted. If he goes in and kills a classmate and shoots a teacher and then kills himself, he couldn't have been that devoted to Mormonism. I'm not an expert on Mormonism. I don't think they say go to school and kill a classmate and shoot a teacher. But that's called white privilege. Okay, now let's go. Let's finish up this article here. Top 10 Meagan Kelly most racist moments. Okay, so number 4, no evidence of racism at McKinney, Texas pool party. Okay. Number 3, Sandra Bland had a quote, a history of being suicidal, end quote. Now, I dealt with the facts about this on the case, and that does come into the argument. Okay. You have to look at that, and you have to look at the fact that she was taken, if I remember correctly, from the case, she had a miscarriage, I think like the year before, something like that. And I think she was taking some type of drug. Okay. So when you deal with the evidence, that does come into play, but you can't rule out necessarily. You also have to leave it open that possibly maybe she was killed. Now, we do know they say she hung herself with a trash bag, things like this. You have to leave it. You have to look at everything. Okay. When discussing Sandra Bland's death, Meagan Kelly was quick to believe reports that the young woman had taken her own life. Quote, what we showed the audience tonight is that this woman has a history of being suicidal. The videotape of the jail cell does not show anybody going into the jail cell during the time she hanged herself, end quote. She said, and this is what Meagan Kelly said during a segment of Fox News on the Kelly Files. Okay. Now, number 3, Santa is white. She infamously took issue with the idea that a fictional character could be adapted to fit the needs of children of all races. Quote, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white. Santa just is white. Just because it makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean it has to change. Jesus was a white man too, end quote. Really? Yeah, he walked around Jerusalem all those years with no hat on and didn't get skin cancer. Yeah, really? Really? Yeah, right. These are the type of idiots they have on Fox News. Number 2, unhinged African Americans are a danger to whites. Unhinged African Americans are a danger to whites. Speaking with attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, Meagan Kelly and her Fox colleagues routinely featured members of the new Black Panther Party, of which attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz was once a member, to suggest that, and she interviewed them, to suggest that white Americans face some sort of great danger at the hands of unhinged African American militants. These Negroes are crazy. I'm surprised she didn't call him Nat Turner. And the number one most racist moment from Meagan Kelly deals with Michael Brown. During an exchange with Malik Zulu Shabazz, president of Black Lawyers for Justice, Meagan Kelly claimed that Michael Brown, quote, was unarmed until he tried to steal the cop's gun, end quote. So this is who they're bringing over to replace Tamron Hall at NBC. Yeah, okay. Meagan Kelly is not qualified to shine Tamron Hall's shoes. All right, check out this article from news1.com. 10 of Meagan Kelly's most racist moments. The former Fox News host is taking her race baiting to NBC.